Everybody and welcome in. I'm WSA3 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Leidy. We're going to be giving you guys an update on this next winter system that is about to move in to the area over the next kind of 15-20 minutes. I know a lot of you getting ready for the big Illini game that's coming up here in just a little bit, but we wanted to jump on here before that game starts and let you guys know exactly what to expect, as tomorrow looks to be kind of a mess out there as we go into especially tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Joining me as well is meteorologist Jacob Dickey. He's going to be going over some of the watches and warnings and advisories, explaining all just the craziness that is. And because we get a lot of questions, why is there not a warning for me? Why is there an advisory here? We're going to do all that and talk about the different impacts and the timing of that as well. So we're going to be checking back in with him in just a second. But what we want to do with you here in the meantime is kind of show you what we've got going out there tonight. And there's not a whole lot here right now, but that is going to be changing as we head into the day tomorrow. So if you need to get out, tonight is the time to go out and do that. All right, so let's take a look here. And you can see here on the radar, nothing going on. We're fine, but we're watching an area of low pressure that has developed out here across the Rockies. It's going to kind of take a little bit of a curve here. It kind of digs a little bit, and we tap into this Gulf moisture, and it's in a favorable position for accumulating snowfall for parts of central Illinois. But it's going to be a really kind of close call as to who's going to see what. And that's been kind of the biggest issue that we've had here, is exactly where is all of this eventually going to wind up. Clouds are already moving in. We're going to have those clouds through tonight. But let's just get right to the meat and potatoes of the forecast here and show you how this may play out. This is tomorrow afternoon. As I mentioned, through noon tomorrow, we're not really too worried about a whole lot. But we think that as we head into the afternoon, you're going to start to see that rain move in. Here's the thing. It's going to be raining in Effingham and possibly even Taylorville there by noon. But the colder air is just to the north and east. And you see around 4 o'clock where that green color, which is the rain, switches over to this purple and the blue, which is that snow here. And it's going to be, you can almost kind of pick it out here just on this model. See how it's almost like a diagonal line here that goes from northwest to southeast, where we think we're going to actually have the snow. Champaign County, you're right in the middle of where that rain snow line is going to be. So this is the toughest part to the forecast, is where does that set up? And to the south of that line, it's a cold, yucky, messy, slushy rain where you don't get snow at all. And right on the line, it's a really wet snow where you may have some melting. But you get just above that 32-degree line, that freezing line there, and you're going to have snow and heavy snow. This is a dark, dark blue. On our models here, we don't get this color of blue very often. I mean, it is not as common for us to get this dark blue. So when we see that, we know that is a huge amount of snow that can move in. So we start to see a little bit more of a push of that snow changing over to rain for more of the area. Later into the night we get, but look at Mclean, Livingston County, Fort Iroquois counties. They stay in it for a really, really long time, which puts that area with the highest probability to see snow. And that's why we've got that blue color there showing that snow is probably your best precipitation type. But we've got to iron out, and we won't really know this until tomorrow. So this is why you check back in with us, Jacob on the morning show tomorrow, and then we'll have updates throughout the day. And where does that line set up? And we're going to know that as we get closer to it there into the afternoon. But wherever it does, if this shifts either way, that could really alter just how much we are going to be seeing from this. And so all of that being said, I know some of you have watches, some of you have warnings, some of you have advisories with all of this. And that's when it gets a little tricky here, because some of you have some things, some of you have others, and they all mean something different. And Jacob explained a little bit about who's under what and what that is actually going to mean for them as they go throughout the course of this next event.
Yeah, Kevin, let's talk more specifically about the watches, warnings, and advisories and what they mean. Just because you don't have one, though, doesn't mean you won't see snow. We'll take a look at that snowfall forecast coming up later. In the meantime, though, the advisories, watches, and warnings do give us an idea of who may have higher impacts as far as it goes. We've got winter weather advisories and winter storm watches in our immediate WCIA3 viewing area, and just to the north are those winter storm warnings. The first level is the winter storm watch. That means hazardous winter weather conditions are possible in the next 24 to 48 hours. It could be snow, ice, or sleet. We don't get a whole lot of watches. Usually it jumps straight to a winter weather advisory. That's actually an upgrade from a watch. It means impactful winter weather is likely, and you can usually see moderate to sometimes higher impacts with that, depending on what that forecast plays out. A winter storm warning is the highest criteria, the highest type of alert for winter weather events. High to very high impacts are expected with winter weather, and that's where usually the heaviest snow or the worst conditions will be for that here. Zooming in closer on specific areas that have these alerts, let's first talk winter weather advisories. Mclean, Champaign, and Vermillion counties, including Danville, Champaign-Urbana, Rantoul, and Bloomington-Normal, under the winter weather advisory. That goes until 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Sometimes with these winter weather events, there's a little bit of a time discrepancy just on impacts and with different forecast offices. National Weather Service in Lincoln covers these counties and has gone ahead with the winter weather advisory. Clinton and Monticello don't have anything for you yet. We still think you'll get some snow, perhaps, and this also could add a few more counties to this as all is said and done. But mostly we're expecting these areas to have some of the higher impacts. Just like up to the north, Livingston, Ford, and Iroquois County still at a winter storm watch. The latest that we talked to the National Weather Service in Chicago, who covers these counties, is they expect an upgrade to an advisory or warning coming. They're not certain which one yet. And so we do expect the highest impacts in these 3 counties for our immediate WCIA3 viewing area. Then you go up to the north just a little bit further. Winter storm warnings have already been issued until Sunday evening. That's going to include LaSalle, you've got Grundy, Kankakee counties, Will counties, and up towards the Chicago metro. A big winter storm for them. Kevin, we're right on the edge of things, and that's why we have to watch here very much what's expected. Those impacts will be highest to the further north you are. But we still do have concern for the Interstate 74 corridor. Maybe we don't get as much snow in some of these areas, but the impact still could be fairly high. And here's why. We're thinking that there could be some gusty winds, particularly when that heaviest snow comes on down. Timing it out, the most likely time for the highest impacts really comes Saturday evening into Saturday night. We'll see things transition pretty quickly in the afternoon in spots that are expected to get snow. 6 p.m. to midnight really, I think, is our best window of opportunity for higher impacts. And then we'll have to see what happens into Sunday. It seems like the snow and rain tapers off a little bit, but we could very well have some of those lingering impacts continuing at least through the first part of Sunday morning. So there is the main window, and that will tell us a lot about how our forecast is in those hours there. So really important, not only join me in the morning show, but also in the evenings as we watch that with those highest impacts along and north of Interstate 74, really focusing on Bloomington, Normal, Champaign-Urbana, Danville, even down to Paris perhaps, and points to the north into Ford, Livingston, and Iroquois counties. Travel will be the biggest impact with this. We don't expect much of a sleet or a freezing rain with this. Should be rain or snow for the most part here. So heavy snow will cause some travel issues north of Interstate 74, but even the Interstate 74 corridor and points to the south could have some higher impact. And we'll talk a little bit about power here too. With the whiteout conditions at times, yes, maybe a power outage possible. We're not really focused on it. This is a travel impacting storm for us here. But these gusty winds, we start to see wind gusts Saturday morning, 25 to 35 miles an hour. From that 6 p.m. till midnight time frame, look at that. Those wind gusts are coming up from 35 upwards to 45 miles an hour. So certainly a few power outages can't be ruled out, but that's not the biggest focus here. You add that heavy snow in with these wind gusts, whiteout conditions will be very much expected, especially in those areas that are getting the snow. There'll be a lot of rain down here still in areas that are having those gustier winds, so sideways rain, I guess if you want to call it. We can say expect that in other spots here, but that wind will add extra bite to the forecast as far as those impacts go. Notice into Sunday morning, this is that area of low pressure that's giving us the problems. It starts to slide on through, and then into Sunday afternoon and Sunday night, the winds will turn back out of the north. So again, as we move forth, these are those weather alerts. You can download the WCIA3 weather app. We give you notification when alerts have changed. If you're in any of these colored counties, you've already gotten that. But we expect some upgrades, particularly sometime tonight before tomorrow morning for Livingston, Ford, and Iroquois County, Kevin. Very much have to watch this closely, as that sharp cutoff is really adding a nightmare for us as forecasters and meteorologists to this. But still, even though if you don't get the heaviest snow, we think there may be some issues.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, with this kind of being just so close and on the line with this, that, you know, is a great reason you need to keep checking back through tomorrow, because things can change, and they can change up to just, you know, a few hours before. Now, I know that a lot of the question is how much are we going to get? Well, that, again, could change, but this is what we're going with here as we go throughout tonight, or I should say tomorrow night. So let's take a look at this graphic here. And I'm just going to show you just the colors here. So we just kind of get a visual of the colors that we've got. So you got the white color here, you got the teal color here, your darker blue, and then we've got this kind of purple color up here. Less to south of I-74, more to the north. But it is right through here where things could change. Where is the rain snow line going to be? And so this could shift either way. When we actually throw on the numbers for you, we've got a pretty good swath here, just along I-74 into the south, maybe about an inch or two. So that includes places like Champaign, it includes Monticello, includes Clinton, down even just south of Paris there. You can see there between Vermillion and Edgar counties on the line. And so that area there, a couple of inches. Far less to the south and west of that, and a lot of that may come with the wraparound that will occur on Sunday. So that's up here. We get into northern Champaign and Vermillion counties. Start up the ante here a little bit, and definitely getting it into Ford and Iroquois counties here. And you get on the northern edge of that, and a 4 to 8 inch range is not out of the question. 6, 7, 8 inches of snow, I think, is going to happen somewhere up in that general area. It's just how wide is that 4 to 8 inch band going to be? So think of it like this. So right now we've got kind of a skinny band there, but it is possible that we could actually expand that out if that rain snow line, doesn't make it that far to the north, and you keep the rain a little further south. So you may be able to expand that a little bit more if that occurs. But right now, we think the highest probability of that 4 to 8 inch amount is going to be across northern Ford, Iroquois County, Watseka. This may be your storm. I got to tell you, you may really be in luck there if you like some of that Piper City, Kimpton areas there. May see that with that heavier amount. But huge changes can occur even across a small area. I just picked out Champaign County just as an example here because as you travel I-57, let's say that you were traveling there on I-57, and so then you're down there near Pasodum, and you go north. You've got, half of an inch of snow. You could easily ramp that up to 4 inches plus as you get up to maybe, say, the Ludlow area. There's going to be a huge contrast, a big difference there from north to south on this snow. So that is our number one question. Do we pull this line a little bit more to the south and put Champaign in that 3 to 4 inch range? Right now we're thinking that it's going to be just north, but it's going to be really close. So a 15 to 20 mile an hour difference is going to make, just a huge difference on how these numbers eventually kind of wind up here. So that's kind of what to expect with this. Again, the snowfall forecast could very well change. It could come up different. And that's why we're going to keep you up to date, keep you updated, and let you know what to expect with this. So we've got a lot of you here that are chatting with us. A lot of you here have some questions here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to throw on and highlight some of those questions that some of you may have and see what we've got. Let us know where you're tuned in from here tonight. And myself and Jacob can answer any of those questions that you may have. We encourage you, there he is. Hey, he's fixing his mic. We encourage you to submit any questions you may have. And Jacob, what's the number one thing that you're really kind of wanting to look at tomorrow?
I'm most interested, Kevin, if we send a storm tracker out and you go out, are you going to get a sandwich in Gibson City?
I mean, it's possible, gosh, I don't know. I may want to be so far north and up into I want to be in that, heart of that snow, which is, maybe up there into northern Iroquois County. I may be up in Watseka, so I may have to pick up the snow on the way there or the sandwich on the way there.
That's right, yeah. We'll call Mama Dickie and she'll have one for you. I will say this, though. The thing that maybe is more interested of me as far as a forecast perspective goes, if we get that mix of rain and snow in there, at times there may be in the middle of this event some higher amounts in, say, Champaign-Urbana. We could see up to 3, maybe 4 inches by Saturday night. We get some of that rain that fills back in Saturday night into Sunday morning. That will compact it down a little bit. That's adding an extra challenge to the forecast very much. So we're looking at that snowfall map as we're finished with the storm. This is what we expect. But there's still maybe some variability as that initial snow comes in, transitions back to rain, compacts that wet snow down. So that's probably what I'm more interested in to see how it plays out. And I tell you what, Kevin, it may be northeast Urbana could get 2, 3, 4, and just southwest Champaign might see next to nothing the way this thing looks. Yeah,
you could be up, up there in the northeastern part of town there, and right there along US 45, and get dumped on, and you may be down by Willard or Savoy, or on the southwest side of town, and you're not going to get hardly anything. You get down near Windsor Road, or you get down, Old Church Road, Airport Road down there. You may not have as much. It'll be a huge difference there from northwest to southeast. Let's see here. Some questions. Let's highlight a few questions here. Let's choose. We'll choose one. Stop in Loda. Grab Murdoch's. That's not really.
There you go.
You ever been up there?
I know of that place. I haven't been there.
Yep.
I was driving through Loda and Buckley in the last event and saw Murdoch's there. Then you've got, in Buckley, I can't remember what that bar is. Dutch Masters? Someone will probably comment on there. Bars but all these local places, Kevin, people are going to take care of you if you get up and watch.
Yeah, well, if any of them are open, they're all going to be like, I'm closed. We're not dealing with this. All right, first question here from Hope. What time will everything start up into Ford County? Well, it looks like here that, according to some of our models here, you guys are going to probably get in on that. Actually, I think we may got a new model that just came in. It's trying to speed things up a little bit. To be honest with you, which is always fun. The new, what we call the HER model, coming in, trying to speed things up. We're still sticking with more of the afternoon. We think, 2, 3 o'clock, that's going to get up there and really ramp up there. I think by that 5, 6 p.m. hour, it's just going to be coming down, because there's going to be this initial, okay, where is the freezing line exactly going to set up at here? But Jacob, you've got a graphic there, again, that shows the exact kind of timing that we think, the general timing of when there's going to be the worst of it when it comes to
we can look
travel.
at the specific impacts, and that's where I think we will win on the forecast. Where's the worst time? By the afternoon we start to get that snow, but things really deteriorate from supper time into the evening hours here. So I think that prime window, Kevin, from 6 p.m. till midnight is when that heaviest snow will fall. Fort County seems to be a fair bet to get that snow all the time, but how heavy it is. And then we'll end up seeing what happens in Champaign-Urbana. But we look at that prime time for the highest impacts. And I think that's going to tell us a lot on how well the forecast has gone. We may watch the freezing line dive south of Champaign-Urbana during that time, and that would bring some heavier snow here. So that's very much going to be one of those hour-by-hour situations. But I think your best window here from about 5, 6 o'clock through the rest of the evening into tonight is when we expect those worst road conditions.
Shannon's wanting to know about Danville, more rain or more snow, and they're also kind of on that line that we keep talking about. It just so happens to be that a lot of our major cities are kind of on this rain-snow line this time around, which makes it kind of difficult. So I think you're going to get probably a little bit of everything. You're going to get some rain, you're going to get some snow there, but it's going to come really, really close. A postal carrier in Danville there as well. What time for Kankakee County? So that's going to be to the north, so you can just kind of tack on, another hour or two there into the afternoon, because it's going from southwest to northeast.
Yeah, but Wendy needs to send us some photos, because I think that's where that best snow is going to be, Kevin. So
yeah, that's true.
Kankakee County.
Yeah, and we got somebody here in Kempton as well. Jerry is up in Kempton, Illinois, so you have a good chance of picking up on that. And we also got some confirmation here about Murdoch. Murdoch's place, that they say, yes, there's good food there. So maybe that.
I think it's the Dutch Masters. I think that's the baseball team in the summer league from Buckley.
Hope Sodoris gets snow. Lots of people commenting on here.
I think there's going to be a lot of disappointed people too, Kevin. That snow line to the south and west, not as much, and you mix it in. This isn't that solid front-to-finish clean snow that a lot of people are hoping for here. Yeah. The impacts, though, are still going to be something else. So.
Jamie wants me to do a snow dance. I don't know if I can do that. There we go. Yeah, and that's the thing about this. When this comes through, and, typically, it's snowing, and you can go out 6 hours after it snowed, you can go out there and measure it, and you get an accurate representation of what the snowfall was. With this, that's not necessarily going to happen. So that's why some of you that may, are, amateur meteorologists, or, trying to figure this out, looking at the models and whatnot, may look at that and say, hey, this shows 10 inches. Why are you not forecasting that? Well, we take into account a few different things there, and a lot of this is how this is, while the actual precipitation and the moisture there, what we call the QPF, is there and there's plenty of it to add up to that, it melts away very quickly when you have this kind of setup the way it is. And so those totals don't actually realize. You don't actually get to those numbers there. And so we kind of back off on them, because as that snow is coming down, I'm going to tell you, it is going to be coming down like crazy. It will be those snowflakes. I mean, it is going to be, like you said, potentially some of those whiteout conditions with the wind, but a lot of it will melt. It's going to be just a wet mess out there. Now, when you get underneath one of those bands that can really put it down, it can help to overcome some of that melting. But there's enough there that that's going to occur that cuts down at least on getting, 10, 12 inches of snow. And so that's why we've got, more in maybe that 6-inch range up to the north, and, more 2 to 4, and, maybe just a couple of inches here. So that's kind of one of the reasons why, we're not going with astronomical amounts on that, because we don't want you to be disappointed, because somebody out there is going to be disappointed with what they get potentially, because they're thinking, oh, if they saw another graphic or another model that showed 10, 12 inches of snow and you don't get that and you get 2.
Yeah, some of the social meteorologists are going off with these numbers.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, all right. Snow can stay away from Muhammad, says Sherry.
I saw someone that said send the snow to Florida. I think Kevin and I are going to go to Florida instead. Leave y'all here. Is that how it works?
Hi from Oklahoma City, former Watsika resident, Lori. So you're going to miss out on the fun. Yeah, there's the Take the Snow to Florida from Nicholas there. There you go. All right, let's read this. This is a long one. I work in Champaign, live in Saybrook. I don't get off work on Saturday until 5. Our road condition is going to be hazardous on my trip home. Wondering if I should leave work early. Jacob, take it away.
That's about a 45-minute drive or so on a normal day. You probably head up 74, get off at Mansfield and drive north to Saybrook. The interstates will probably be the last to go as far as the impacts go. And if we have a southeast wind coming in, you're driving northwest, so the snow will probably be blowing at your back in that instance there. And so the interstate, you'll probably, I want to say, trend better. If you can leave an hour or 2 early, it'll help you. And it will definitely take more time, especially as you get off into some of those side roads, some of those less traveled roads. But usually IDOT does a good job with plowing, salting, taking care of things on those main thoroughfares. And it also will depend, too. We saw that snow transition, Kevin, from 4 to 6 o'clock really get going. If that sets up over Interstate 74, yes, you can have some slick spots. You can get an hour or 2 earlier, that's fine. If you can't, your boss says no. Take it slower, be cautious. So there may be some whiteout conditions too, especially we get to the 6, 7 o'clock hour with some of these heavier snow bands and those wind gusts 35 to 45 miles an hour. So my best advice, if you can get an hour or 2 earlier, perhaps that would be the best case scenario, but you'll probably still be dealing with impacts. Even if you're not getting the snow, it'll be a fairly heavy rain at times too out there, Kevin. But we really think that folks are going to notice those worst conditions 5, 6 o'clock on through about midnight or so, if not a little beyond that.
Okay, we're just getting in some of the 0Z model data here, and so I'm just gonna.
Kevin's sneaking a look at it and see what it's bringing. Of course, we'll tease that for.
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
We're playing a little guessing game here. I kind of want to say it's.
You think anything's changed?
What I've noticed with the model, so we get model data 4 times a day on some of our bigger models. Our 0Z, which is about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. You got the 6Z, the 12Z, and the 18Z. That's Zulu time based on Greenwich Standard Time. So that usually comes in 6, 7 p.m., midnight 1, 5, 6 in the morning, and then again in the midday or so. What I've noticed, Kevin, is that these 18 and the 6Zs, the in-between runs, have shifted south. The 0 and the 12 have kind of brought it north ever so slightly. So I'm interested to see if it's continued either staying consistent or if it's pushed things just ever so slightly to the north that some of the 18Z models brought down. I don't know, though. What are you seeing?
It looks very similar to what a lot of the 12Z stuff. It's actually consistent. So
that's good. Okay, we're feeling good about the forecast.
The forecast is looking pretty good here. Again, there is still that question mark for Champaign. We've got you in that 2-inch range right now. There's always been this question. Okay, could we get in that 4-inch? Bit, and let me go back to that graphic again, because I want to explain this one more time.
Sure.
Because it is not out of the question to actually have this 3 to 4 inch area we have up here in northeastern Champaign County to move 10 or 15 miles. I mean, that takes nothing. So could 4 inches realistically occur here. It's possible. You know, and some of the models are trying to do that. But essentially, just think of it this way. If you just look at it from, let's just put a 1 in the southwest corner and a 4 up here, that's generally the trend that it's going to be. You're going to have less and you're going to have more. So could there be, you know, 2, 3, 4? That's definitely possible. And again, that's only, you know, an inch or two that could make a difference. But yes, so forecast is still pretty much on the line of kind of what we're seeing with some of the new model data coming in. So I think we're looking pretty good there. 3 to 4 inches, 5, 6, 7, 8 to the north. Definitely possible. Iroquois County, probably where I'm heading. I'll head up there. I want to get into that. I saw something earlier. Somebody was asking about thunder snow with this, and I don't think we really have any cape out there. So
there wasn't really a lot of rising motion.
Yeah. And
what we were looking at is some of that heavier snow and rain was those QPF values were so high because we've got a lot of atmospheric moisture. So there's not a lot going up, rising motion, but there is a lot falling because of how much Gulf moisture is coming up with the system.
Yeah. Yeah, so unfortunately that probably won't be the case, but it'd be cool if there was.
Someone's updating us on the score of the game.
Oh, score of the game, here we go. Iowa 18, Illinois 14.
Now it's 16.
Or 16.
Game on here.
Oh, we got the game on over here too.
Everyone's probably wondering what I'm looking. I'm watching the game when
Yeah,
Kevin's
we got
me.
the game over here. We're just we're doing it all here.
And
all right. Any last final thoughts there before we wrap it up here and let people watch the game and we can look at the latest data coming into before the newscast?
Yeah, you know, I think we're pretty set on the forecast as of now. We've identified that corridor from Bloomington Normal to Champaign-Urbana to somewhere between Danville and Paris, down by like Georgetown, Ridge Farm, Sidell. Get down to Allerton, that area where that transition zone's really going to be crucial. But I think in the impacts game, Kevin, we're still on board where if you get some of that snow, it'll be heavy and there could be some whiteout conditions with those blustery winds at times. If you don't get the snow, though, you still got windy weather and some heavy rain too. So this is probably also good, Kevin. We didn't mention a lot about that rain. I think some spots half-inch, inch, where it's an all-rain event, if not a little more. And that's good for those drought conditions that we've been keeping our eyes on over the last number of months. That area of severe drought has started to shrink a little bit between Springfield, Decatur, and Lincoln. And if we can add more good beneficial drought-busting rains in those areas, that's good news. I haven't mentioned that much. Of course, the fun, the attention drawn to the snow when we talk about these events. And I will say, too, I saw a comment slip on by about ice. It seems like it's going to be a clean either rain only or snow only, not mix in freezing rain or sleet, but will likely interchange back and forth between rain and snow in some of those transition zone areas.
And don't be disappointed if you are in Charleston, Mattoon, even Decatur. I don't think you're going to get much in the way of any snow with this. You know, this has continued to be the case that this is a north of I-74 event. It has been that way all along, and we don't see that really changing much. Now, could it creep just south of I-74 by, 10 miles? Yeah, but if you are down into Coles County and Moultrie County and Shelby and Christian County, you're just not going to get, the real good snow out of this that they may see up to the north. But it's going to be coming down tomorrow, and of course, tell everybody when you're going to have your next update again for tomorrow.
Tomorrow, let's see, I'm going to be on at 8 a.m. for the morning show. 8 o'clock in the morning, we'll have the morning show update. We'll probably do another update after that on digital platforms right here, Facebook, Twitter, our app. We stream to that every time we were on. It's a great app to have. We'll do that after the 8 o'clock show, which finishes at 9. So we'll kind of say about 9:30 or so with our last thoughts. And then we'll be back into the afternoon. We have our shows at 6, 9, and 10 in the evening, Saturday night. Of course, by then, Kevin will be trapped somewhere up north. And he'll be live in the field, and I will be hanging out here in the studio. We'll send push alerts through the app as need be. You'll probably get an update, a weather alert update on those Fort Iroquois, Livingston County in particular, coming through your app sometime between midnight and 4 a.m. Whether it's upgraded to an advisory or a warning, I don't think it matters. I think the impacts will be the same. So primarily from a TV and digital perspective, we'll start at 8 a.m. We'll jump on the digital platforms for an extended Facebook Live at 9:30. We may do something in the afternoon early if things start to change with Kevin in the field. We'll definitely be on at 6 o'clock, do something in between the shows and the 9 and 10. So it'll be a busy day for us here in weather.
We will, and we'll keep you up to date through tomorrow night. We're going to dive into some of the latest model data coming into us here. Again, from initial thoughts, looking like things are going to pretty much stay the course, but we actually get even another piece of model that comes in around 9:30, 9:50. Another model that comes in that we'll look at. And so at 10 o'clock, we may be sharing that with you and letting you know what to expect. But thanks to everybody who jumped on here. Be sure to share this Facebook Live with your friends and family that maybe missed out on this because we had a lot of information that we're able to get. And they can also use the same information. So we'll have more tomorrow as well. So keep checking back with us. We got you covered. You know the drill by now with us. We're always out here getting you the very latest with everything. So for Jacob, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Lighty over here, and we will see you guys on the newscast tonight at 9 o'clock. Jacob will be on at 9. I'll be on at 10 o'clock, and we will see you then as we track yet again another winter storm moving into central Illinois.
One day in the spring.
Yeah, there you go. We'll see you guys.